Most of our lives, we live in our mind, in a story, in a narrative. How do we get out of that? This is the question that most spiritual seekers ask themselves when they embark on this journey of the inner self to understand what is it that is causing all my emotions and all my limiting beliefs and everything else that kind of darkens our experience of life, and it takes away the life of life. So one of the things that we realize is that we're living a mental story. We're living these cyclical patterns of things that are informing us in a way that it's not congruent with who we are. So how do we get out of that is the question. First, we need to understand what is it that's happening? What truly is happening in our minds as we continue to feed these stories with identity? Because that's all that's happening. We're giving identity, ourselves, to the story. It's like we are investing ourselves, our true self, in a story that is repetitive and it hasn't been undone or processed, we could say. So what's happening? If you simply look at your mind without any techniques, just with curiosity and openness, meaning that you're going to set aside whatever prejudice you may have, expectations, anything, just an objective observation of your mind, you're going to find something fascinating, which is that first, the story is being generated within you. It's not outside of you. It doesn't belong to somebody else who told you this or that you were conditioned by. Initially, we may hear and see that, oh yeah, all that I believe about myself was taught, was conditioned by society, parents, and so on. We are past that point because that doesn't lead us anywhere. It's just a recognition of where the influence came from. However, the story or the image that we have created of ourselves is still living in us. And it is perpetuated by nobody else but us. How do we know that? Because when we look at our minds, that's exactly what we see. It doesn't require a deep state of meditation. It doesn't require some deep inner work. It only requires curiosity to see, how is this being generated? Well, for one, it's being generated within me. I don't need to enter any altered state of mind for that. I just need to observe and say, yes, it's being generated by me, and it's being also generated within me. Very important. Now, who is this me that is generating it? Who is this mind, or who is this self? So this is the initial question that we ask in this method, in this approach of direct experience, is who am I? So we ask the question and we see that what I am prior to the story is almost like an awareness that is waiting, expecting something, expecting the next thought, right? Sit and wait for your next thought and you'll see what I mean. There is a waiting and there is a peace, a calmness to it. That's what we call awareness. It is waiting for the next thought. As soon as it arises, then there is a possibility here. And this is where our investigation leads us next, which is to see that the story is being told to nobody else but to ourselves. So we're generating the story and we're telling it to ourselves. Now, so far so good. Everything is fine. Except that when the story is generated and it informs us, here's the thing. Who is this I that receives the story? Is it an image? Is it somebody that we have fashioned, contrived, defined being? Fine, that could be. And if you see that, then what you're seeing is a character, not yourself. Let's backtrack. Who are you? You are that awareness that is waiting for the next thought. That's all you are. Anything else must be a contraction of thoughts, thought patterns that are simply there as a form of image. And that's what you think you are. So the story is being told to that character. Now, if that character is real, let's look it up. Let's see who that character is. And as soon as you shine the light of yourself, of awareness to it, you'll find that it's made out of thoughts, yes, and then it starts dissipating, like so many flies, a cloud of flies that seem to be a body, big body, and it's just small flies that fly away, and they dissipate. The more you look at the character without the narrative, nothing. It's like smoke. Creates an illusion of body, but it isn't anything. So where is this narrative going? What is it saying about you? It's saying nothing. It's memory. It's just thoughts that are flying through. So where do emotions come into play? Very simple. If the character is present and the information or the thoughts, the narratives are informing the character, then very likely there will be an emotion arising. Maybe one of pride, one of unworthiness, one of extreme joy, one of extreme sadness, or anything in between. Any fluctuations of emotions are always present, just like the waves in the sea. They could be very small, little ripples, or they can be huge, but there's always something there. The more subtle we become with our observation or meditation, the more we see these waves, and that's fine. We're not trying to get rid of them. We're trying to see them and understand them, see where they're coming from. So this is the first step that we need to take if we want to resolve these cyclical patterns, these negative behaviors that are always repetitive, because there's a story there and it's being told to a character, somebody that we have fashioned, that when we look for it, doesn't exist. And this is a simple, curious investigation that we do. We shouldn't even call it meditation at this point, because the word has been used with so many definitions. Just call it curiosity. What are you doing? I'm sitting with curiosity. Are you meditating? No. Say no. I'm not meditating. I'm just curious. I became very curious about my mind and my identity. What is it that I am? Am I really that character? Let's look it up. Let's investigate it. And you will always see the same thing. There is an awareness that is waiting. Awareness is always waiting. And there comes a narrative. And there's a story made out of memories. And you hear the voice. It's your own voice. It's nobody else's voice. It may be disguised by some memory of somebody else's voice, but it's your own voice. You're repeating, like when you listen to somebody sing and then you sing. It's your own voice. You're not singing with their voice. Same thing. Pay attention to it. Just watch it arise. It's your voice. And what is it saying? It's informing you. It's telling you that you are that, whatever the information may be. Something incredible about you, something terrible about you. It's always in between, one of those two. And it's always informing you. So who are you? Are you a character? Fine. Maybe that feels very real, very convincing. Let's look it up. Let's see. Who is this character? What is it made out of? Just thoughts. More thoughts. It's a play of thought. And it's all playing out in the field of awareness or within you. That's it. Now, how do we process this? How do we integrate this? Notice that I didn't say, how do we get rid of this? How do we trash this? How do we take out all of this of myself? No, that's a different approach. And it's not what we take here. We're not seeing an enemy. We're not seeing something undesired. We're actually seeing something very desirable, which is understanding what's happening in our minds. I'll give you an analogy, and then we'll move it into our investigation. Imagine that you're listening to somebody, let's make it a child, that is talking to you, and what they're saying is something that is informing you in a way that it's not appropriate. There are two things that you can do. you can incentivize this. You can buy into the story and make them feel, yes, this is what you are. Yes, and this is what you're saying. And you're feeding into the story by listening and agreeing with it. That's the first thing. Right? You're building up something that is not congruent with what you know is true. The other option is to neglect, avoid, and reject completely the story, the person talking. Okay, what's that going to cause? If not an emotional buildup in the other person, that the next time it sees you, it's going to lash back at you and tell you more and more and more and more about this story. So 2 ways that we usually engage with these narratives. 1, we engage with it and fully invest and really buy into it and feed it. It grows and it becomes part of ourselves, right? You can't stop now agreeing with this story. And it happens with people when we have these stories, or people telling us their story and we agree, oh yeah, he's a terrible person. Oh yeah, she's a bad wife. No, you're right? We're agreeing with them. We're making their story and their idea blown out of proportions. Yes, that's it. Or on the other side, instead of listening, we just move away. I'm not interested. I avoid it. So what's the option here? What's the third option? Silence. Stay in silence and listen. You don't move away. You also don't contribute to it. Because the more you sit in silence with the story, with the narrative, I'll bring it now to our practice, the more you listen to it, the less it takes part of you, because you're not buying into it. You're not creating the character. You're not sustaining that character to buy into the story. And simply listen. Just like you would somebody who is talking about something that it's not of your interest, but you're allowing them to express themselves. And you don't agree, but you also don't turn your back to them. And that's a healing process, because the emotional buildup that happens over time is because we ignore ourselves. We keep ignoring something that wants to simply talk, that wants to tell us the narrative, and it wants to get rid of it too. It wants to not to get rid of it in trashing it, but actually to let it out, to express it, to vent itself, and to find that it's not true. That's it. So all we need to do is sit and listen. Just listen to it. If you find that you are identifying with it, you're investing, it's because there's a dialogue, there's a part of you, and you'll see it arise. It's you again, but you're creating the narrative, and then you're arising also as a sort of interactive. It's like you're playing with your hands, right? And your hands are not doing anything. You're just creating this whole play. One is talking and the other one is listening and maybe talking back to it, and you'll see it. It's fascinating. It's always there. And you can do it at any moment because your mind is constantly at this. And again, what's the solution? We've been trapped on these narratives for a long time. The solution is just sit there, listen. The narrative, the initial narrative is fine. It's the other one that responds when you arise as a separate being and start talking back to it, or maybe substituting, or whatever coping mechanism we have to deal with this. It makes it more real. And so we start living and we say, that's me. I am a depressed person. I am a very proud, whatever. I am this, I am that, because it's the result of that interaction. Many interactions that we have in our lives. We have cultivated them. So what's the solution? Stay with it. Now, some people may say, oh, Gabe, I will lose my personality if I do that. Yes, you will lose that part of the personality that doesn't serve you anymore. Everything else that you are, you will never lose, because that's coming through you. Just like the narrative comes through you. Your true spontaneous personality is coming through you, only that it's being clouded by this. It's being darkened, it's being distorted by these other narratives, and they're conflicting. So yes, you will lose all your personality that doesn't serve you anymore. And everybody wants to also lose that, to transform it, to integrate it into part of their experience. And that's all that it's waiting for. So every time you sit and you feel an emotion, you bet there's a story there. Sometimes it's subconscious, sometimes we don't see it right away, but it's okay to actually sit with that emotion. And over time, the narrative will arise, because stillness allows the emotion to eventually dissipate a little bit so we can see what's the story behind it. And whatever the story is, we just listen to it. Now, we don't have to, when dealing with emotions, we don't have to do this boiling of the emotion, let's say, for the narrative to come. Just sitting with the emotion is enough. And I talk about this in other videos, but just wanted to add that in. We don't have to understand the narrative at all. We're not chasing for anything. We're just sitting with whatever it is that is arising and just very curious about how we interact in the mind as a separate being. That's the only part that is out of the equation, because that's the one that is distorting everything. The separate self that arises to get invested in the story or reject it, because it either likes it for some reason or it doesn't like it for some other reason. We're not that. We are that peaceful, awaiting awareness that allows everything through. That's all I got to share in this video. As always, I hope this is helpful, because meditation and our inner work shouldn't be something difficult. It shouldn't be seen as something advanced for the future when I do whatever it is. It's something that starts now, and it only requires sincerity, honesty, and a very deep interest and curiosity to understand our experience as it is in the moment. If you need more help with this, as usual, I'll invite you to my community in school where you can get involved. You can watch the free courses that I have there and actually be part of the group calls that we have for integration. It's all for free, and it's available for you just by clicking the link in the description. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.